violence. Dave Vago, welcome to these proceedings. I don't know if you read that story that Sarah read, but it reminded me of the good old days of Yugoslavia. And we may not have violence, outright violence yet, but we do have plastic cockroaches. Are you on top of that one?
Yeah, good evening, Barry and Sarah.
Hey, how are you,
back
Dave?
on your show again.
Great to have you.
What do you think about those cockroaches?
You talking about the what Glenn Beck revealed today?
No, that is
That's
major.
important.
That's our big punch. I was talking about a major story here involving plastic cockroaches, bugs, mold, and flies. These are just, what is that?
It's a dog, honey.
Where?
Dave.
Is that Dave's dog?
No, yes, it's Dave's dog.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Somebody left the door open.
Yeah.
Anyhow, cockroaches, bugs, moles, and flies, these are just some of the props and rumors allegedly employed by our old friends, Dave, the Service Employees International Union against the American unit of French catering company Sodexo. And the company's had enough. Fed up with tactics that include intimidation, extortion, and yes, sabotage that apparently includes plastic cockroaches. Sodexo filed a lawsuit against the SEIU last week under the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization. That's the RICO Act. We'll be right back. We have a major agenda for the hour ahead with Dave Vago, author of The Devil at My Doorstep. I want to say devil at my doorstep, but Google, I read about 15 times the devil at my doorstep. Dave, which is it legally in
It's the devil at my doorstep.
The devil at my doorstep. Okay, good. That's very important in case somebody wants to buy a copy, which is recommended for all freedom lovers and all those who believe in free enterprise without union in line. Dave Vago. His story is between covers of The Devil at My Doorstep, the union, SEIU, Service Employees International Union, thought he would fall like the others do. You know the philosophy, pay the $2, you can't fight City Hall. Well, it's easier to fight City Hall than it is the strongest union in the world. But Dave Vago was not buying any. He stood up. He faced back. He finally beat the union. They did not force him to cave, unionize his executive management services coast to coast, and he becomes a major and very valuable American for that stand-up act. And it, as I say, is between covers of this book, The Devil at My Doorstep. Now, Glenn Beck strikes again, another major bombshell. It's your story, Dave. You go. I'm like that guy in the on the stage of the opera in the pit. In case anybody forgets his lines, I'm here with the libretto in my hand. But why don't you tell the story the way it broke upon you?
Well, and just to go back about what you were saying about Sodexo, I did see that, and that is not surprising at all. That's one of their tactics. They did similar things with us, and I don't know why companies don't wake up and understand what's going on, and people don't understand what's going on. And Sodexo, you know, they're doing a RICO complaint, which other companies have tried, and it doesn't work. You have to fight them the way we fought them, and I wish Sodexo would call me because I think I could help them. But anyway.
You should call them.
No. Wait. Let us be the matchmakers.
Oh, yeah,
we
exactly.
will call Sodexo and say, we have aid and comfort for you if you're interested. Really?
I hope they call your show.
Okay, that I would like, but also at some point I want to know why the RICO doesn't work, but that's not the issue. Now, talk about the Glenn Beck thing.
Well, the Glenn Beck thing was astonishing, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't see it until about 6 o'clock today, and I'm on the same time you guys are, Eastern Standard Time. I was in a meeting with a customer, and I come out, and somebody, 2 or 3 people had sent me the thing, and I was reading over it and looking at it, and you know, the basics of it is that the SEIU is going to go after the largest bank in the country, Chase Bank, and try and get 500,000 people or so to default on their mortgage payments and not pay them, and put Chase Bank in such a situation that they're going to be insolvent. And when you listen to the tape, and Beck had it on his show today, it's depending on which version you listen to, it can be 3 or 4 minutes up to about a 17-minute tape. You listen to these people; they're calm, they're collected, they buy into this. I mean, they are indoctrinated, and they believe that the rich people control the country, and it's their job to bring them down and collapse our economy and start over as a socialistic regime. And I've talked about that in my blogs. In fact, I was going through my blogs tonight. I had about 8 blogs where I talk about this thing over and over again. This is their ultimate goal.
Why would they allow a tape of this kind of conspiracy to exist?
I don't know. Except I can tell you the SEIU seems to be so arrogant that they don't care what's out there. They just think they can run over anybody, and they don't care if you know if it's coming or not.
By the way, part of that plan is not just to liquefy and liquidate the Chase Bank. They want to do the same thing to the stock market.
Right, and collapse the stock market. You're exactly right. And I've talked about this in my blogs for quite a while. Is that and the SEIU, people have to understand, is joined at the hip with this administration. And they believe in socialism. That's what they want, and they try to wrap it in this veil of altruistic social justice, which is not true because they don't care about the people at all. And they really believe that the only way for them to be successful is to collapse our economy. And when you look at it, here's a basic question I ask people all the time. Why isn't this administration addressing jobs? Because we cannot have a recovery without jobs. It's that simple. And the answer is because they know the more people that depend on the government becomes overburdened and it collapses.
And that's their goal? The people in charge of the government have as their goal to collapse the economy, collapse the society?
Yes, they do. They absolutely believe this.
I totally agree with you.
And if you look at, and I talk about this in one of my blogs, Barry, I went back after I saw this thing with Glenn Beck, and before you called, I went back and started looking at my blogs, and you look back at them, and if you go back and read Andy Stern's book, he believes, and Andy Stern, as you know, was the president of the SEIU, and he now, I don't know, he's been in the White House how many times?
More than anybody else.
Right, and he's part of their supposed deficit reduction committee. And, if you read his book, A Country That Works, I mean, he talks about taking us to a socialistic type of country. And, he's committed to it. I mean, if he's committed to it, and he's good friends with the president, I mean, you can draw your own conclusions, but, normally you can determine what people are like by who they associate with.
Right. How does this Chase thing play out? Who does what, when, and where?
Well, and I haven't had much chance to look at it, but obviously they're talking about recruiting and organizing. That's their big word, organizing.
Right.
And while I'm at it, okay, remember what Obama's campaign theme was? Organize for America.
Yes.
Organize. That's what the unions use. And I want to stop for a minute because I need to say this. It isn't the rank and file union people. In fact, I think they understand what's going on, a big majority of them, and they need to stand up and stop this. But back to Chase, they want to organize homeowners who, are out of work or unemployed, and there's back to that unemployment thing. We don't want them employed. That way they can't pay their mortgages. I mean, and get these people to stand up and say, hey, we're being mistreated. It's the people on Wall Street that are taking advantage of us, and if you guys don't pay your mortgages and you continue to sit in your homes and that, and the banks can't do anything about it, and the government's not letting us throw you out, the bank, I mean, you got to have monies coming in to pay for all these loans that you put out there.
So the objective is I think I understand, organize out-of-work homeowners.
Right.
Don't pay your mortgage. You will swamp. Banks don't want to repossess. They don't want your house. They want your money.
That's exactly right.
I'm worried about, I'm not worried. I'm just thoughtful about how are they going to get these people organized. What do they do? Send them an email?
Oh, no. You have to understand, Sarah, they have foot soldiers out on the street all the time, depending on what they're trying to do. I mean, they were a big part of the organizing there in Wisconsin at Madison.
Yes. Yeah,
and
I do know. Yeah, you're right.
It's incredible.
Glad you mentioned Wisconsin. I hope we have a little time for Wisconsin before quitting time. We'll be right back with Dave Bego, author of The Devil at My Doorstep. On our Newsmaker line, the author of The Devil at My Doorstep, strictly factual, strictly autobiographical. He was there. It was the devil, and it was on his doorstep. He is Dave Bego. The book, The Devil at My Doorstep, the story of how the biggest, most powerful union in the world tried to step on him as though he were a real, not a plastic cockroach, and instead they broke their foot on Dave Bego. He doesn't stomp